This is episode 4 in my 2023 Summer Headspace series. This is a chance to revisit episodes from the previous school year during the summer months when hopefully you have a little extra time and a little less on your mind. Beginning on August 28th, you'll see new episodes with exciting new topics every Monday as usual. For today, we're going to look back at episode 78, where Allison Perryman talks about seeing, hearing, and tasting culture, and then episode 88, where Kia D. London discusses representation in the language classroom. These are two episodes that complement each other so well, and that's why I wanted to put them together so you can listen to them in your summer headspace together. So let's jump in. Are you a language teacher looking for some reassurance that what you're doing in the classroom is on the right track? Or maybe you're looking for some ways to teach even more effectively. If you're one or the other or somewhere in between, you've landed in the right place. This is the World Language Classroom Podcast with your host, me, Joshua Cabral. You're about to get tips, tools, and resources so that your students continue to rise in proficiency and communicate with confidence. Let's jump in. Vamos, allons-y. Hello, my friends. Bonjour, mes amis. Hola, mis amigos. Welcome to the World Language Classroom Podcast. I am Joshua Cabral, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your summer to listen to these summer Headspace episodes. Hopefully, when you go back to school in the fall or later in August, whenever you go back, hopefully when you go back, you will have lots of great activities and methodology to have in your head as you go back into the classroom. So in this revisit episode, I'm starting with episode 78, which is with Allison Perryman. She looks at using different formats for presenting cultural information and engaging students in diverse cultural experiences. And so she has this whole way of using the senses. So her approach of seeing and tasting and hearing diverse cultures with students. She's also quite a joy to hang out with and spend time with. You will find yourself smiling the whole time listening to her. So if you just want to feel good, listen to this episode 78 with Allison Perryman. So to continue on with this theme of culture, episode 88 is with Kia D. London, and she provides lots of examples of centering representation and diverse racial and ethnic content in the classroom. And she gives lots of really specific examples from her own curriculum and her own classroom. So this idea of representation, where students are learning about diverse racial and ethnic content and people and their experiences, but also seeing themselves reflected in it as well. But how do we do this? How do we do this consistently while also engaging students authentically? That is a lot of what Kia and I get into in this episode. So Allison Perryman, episode 78, start with your culture there, where you're seeing and hearing and tasting culture and getting students involved with it. And then episode 88, where you're looking at using all of that content in a way that brings representation into the classroom in a way that's consistent and engages students. So in the show notes, you'll see the links to episodes 77 and 88, so you can listen to them right there without even leaving the app. There's also a link to sign up for Talking Points, which is my weekly email newsletter with tips and resources for language teaching. There's also a link to get in touch with me if you would like to work together, and we can do that either in person in your school, or we can even do it remotely. So thank you again for taking the time during your summer to focus on your teaching. It's what makes you a great educator, and I appreciate that so much. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now. You've been listening to the World Language Classroom Podcast. Be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening so you don't miss a single episode. Let's continue the conversation on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at WL Classroom. You can also see over 250 blog posts about language teaching at, you guessed it, WLClassroom.com.